Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Tom.
I'm Joe.
And this is InsideAMind.
Whether you're watching or listening, wherever you are in the world, we hope that this podcast can provide valuable advice on how to better deal with your physical and mental well-being.
Sit back, relax, and join me in introducing our special guest today, Mr. Alex Bowen. What a pleasure to have you on, my friend.
I don't know about special, but yeah. Thank you for having me, lads.
Mate, we've got loads to chat about today. It's been great to get to know you sort of off camera as well and behind the scenes. The most chilled out guy, cool guy I could ever meet. So I told Joe about that because sometimes you deal with people and it's a bit stressful.
Yeah.
It's been smooth sailing. It's been perfect. So thank you.
Let's keep it smooth.
So the topics we're going to sort of discuss today is everything based around men's mental health, social media, the effects of social media, some of the charity work you're doing, and these sick challenges which you've got coming up as well, which I can't wait to talk about later on. The first off, could you just tell the viewers a bit about yourself and a bit about your story?
So the way that I started to get into the whole men's mental health and like raising awareness, last year my best friend took his own life, and to be fair, it was like the hardest thing for me because in the space of a year I had the birth of my baby boy, which was like the highest of the high, and then within the 6-month span my best friend took his own life, and then that was kind of like the lowest of the low, and there's quite a few things that got me through it. Obviously my son being the main one and my wife, but then I just like basically threw myself into a lot of challenges and just tried to use my platform as much as I could just to raise as much money and raise as much awareness as I can around men's mental health. So
mate, that's amazing, and I really appreciate, and Joe does as well, that you're actually using your platform to do that, because that's hard to do. You know, you don't have much, from what I can see, you don't have much of a private life anymore. Everything's quite public.
Yeah.
So doing that, massive respect to you. And
I mean, to be honest, it's kind of annoying to me that it kind of took my best friend to die to kick me up the arse to be like, I need to do something on my platform, because I kind of just used it for like just kind of personal life, business life. I never really done anything for anyone else kind of on it. So yeah, it was kind of like a good thing that I decided to do, really.
Mate, it's great. I can't wait to touch on all this stuff later on properly as well. I love with podcasts like this is if I was to meet you in a bar or a pub or wherever, you don't really get to know the proper Alex Bowen.
Yeah.
I'd love to throw it back to the start and hear a bit about you, a bit about where you're from growing up and what that was like.
Okay, so as you can tell from my accent, I'm from Birmingham. Well, actually, I was born in West Brom, and I kind of moved around like the West Midlands a little bit. I didn't really know my dad, never met him. So just my mum that brought me up. I'd like to think that she raised a gentleman, someone that's like been brought up pretty well. So yeah, well done, Mum. And yeah, obviously football was pretty much my life growing up. I was going to actually be a PE teacher. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in my life, to be honest. I was always kind of like last minute like thing. I never really had my life planned out. And then I kind of like got into like PTing and stuff, started to do that, and that was pretty much my passion, but like I needed to earn a bit of money. So my friend who actually passed, he got me a job scaffolding, and I absolutely loved it, just being on site with the lads, like having the crack and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. And then straight after that I had a call, and that was when I got asked to go on the TV show, and then that was when my life just completely changed from there, really.
What was it? Was football sort of your main thing? Were you like, that's my goal, I want to be a footballer? Or did you always kind of, in the back of your head, want to be a bit of a social media influencer? Or did that just come randomly to you?
I mean, the influencer thing I hate with a passion. Like,
oh, really?
I hate being, like, I hate being called an influencer, because like, I don't really influence nothing. What I'd get you to maybe buy a t-shirt or clothes, you know what I mean? Like, to me, an influencer is someone that's like adding value to your life kind of thing, or like motivating you in a certain way. But yeah, back to that, like to me football was always the main thing for me, and then obviously when I got injured I just kind of like sacked that off, and then I started going out partying, drinking, and then that's the way my life kind of little spiraled a little bit, and then that's when I got into like working full time and stuff. So
And then, sorry, you said from there you went into scaffolding, which your best mate introduced you to.
He introduced me to it, and do you know what? At first, they always used to like having a laugh and a joke at me. Used to call me suntan, used to call me pretty boy, and do you know what? I loved it, man. Like it was just like the best. That was some of the best years of my life. Like it was some of the hardest work, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah, and then obviously my life just pretty much like propelled after that. So.
And then, sorry, from there onto Love Island.
Yeah. So I remember. They messaged me on Instagram, and then I kind of just split up with my girlfriend at the time. And then I was like, I remember it just raining one day and it was like horrible. We were sitting in the van and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I messaged them back, and then within like 2-3 months I was on the show.
So what's that? Is that on Instagram? They just send you.
They just messaged me on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they messaged me like 2-3 times, and then I just never replied. Then I thought, you know, because I didn't really know what it was. I don't really watch TV like that. Like the only thing I used to watch was like Big Brother back in the day. I don't really know what anything was. And then obviously I went for my interviews. I kind of like played my character up a little bit, so I got on the show, and then that was it.
Yeah. From there, you met Olivia, your wife, on the show. Did you ever think you'd go on that show and actually sort of find love and come away and have a wife from it? No.
No, I went on there for a suntan. Yeah. Like, to be honest, this whole like influencer thing, if you want to call it that, like all the paid jobs and stuff like that wasn't a thing really. That was kind of just coming into place when we come off the show. So yeah, I just went on there not knowing what to expect. But I just think like in this kind of life, you've just got to say yes to all these opportunities, and then whatever comes your way, comes your way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, mate. That's so good to hear. Like, it's worked out well for you. And the bit I wanted to touch on with Love Island is, and this is slightly controversial in a way, but I feel like it's either or. And you came out really well. You met Olivia. You guys have a great life. You just had Abel. But I know a lot of people from that show, or not a lot, but a few, have taken their lives and not been able to sort of deal with the social media pressure. What's that like, sort of in the spotlight of social media? Is it hard to deal with the, like, trolls and people behind screens saying mean things on the show and calling people names and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, I know it's controversial, but the way I think about it, like you just said, obviously they are attached to Love Island, the 3 that took their life. But I feel like they kind of just use... I've got no loyalties towards Love Island. Like, I speak to one of the producers now and again, like once in a blue moon. I've got no loyalties to him, so I'm not for him or against them. But that was like... Can you swear on here or not?
No. Yeah, probably, why not?
Yeah, okay. To me, I just feel like there's a lot of bullshit that there was like, it's all connected to Love Island. It's like, people have got other stuff going on in their lives, and I kind of know what one of them got going on. But people just kind of pin Love Island to it, and it wasn't that at all. Do you know what I mean? But everyone just wanted to use that as a thing. But going back to like the social media aspect of it, no one likes to, like, I didn't really get that many trolls, luckily. Like, I kind of like swerved it. But I know a few people that did deal with it. It's like, I mean, imagine just someone coming up to you all the time and just being horrible constantly every day. It's just online bullying, that's all it is really. But then there's it's kind of like, you sign up for the show, you got to expect that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's such a shame though.
Wow. Did it help at all that you had Olivia with you at the same time to sort of... Because you could bounce off each other and say if you ever got a nasty message from people. Did it help, do you think, that you came out of each other? And...
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, because we both had normal lives and normal jobs, then when we come off the show, everything that we went through, we was like learning about it together. So any bad comments online, I mean, Liv always just says it, you just block and delete them and they're gone forever. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, we just helped each other along the way, really.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and the majority of people wouldn't say that to your face if they saw you in person, and that's the most annoying thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they'd probably come up to you and ask for a picture, like, do you know what I mean? I'm just like, mate, like, it's just annoying.
Yeah. Like Joe and I have had a few comments, nothing bad, nothing awful at all, but you're just a bit like, you read it and you're like, why have they put that? I sent it to Joe, and Joe was like, why have they put that on like a mental well-being podcast?
Yeah, it's mad. But that's the thing, like the fact that people take time out their day to say something bad online, it's just like they're obviously not happy in their life. But the thing is, like, you're never going to be able to control it. So there's always going to be idiots out there that are going to say horrible things like, so you just got to try and like forget about them and move on and just concentrate on the good that you're doing, I guess.
Yeah. Is that Livia's sort of top tip, is just literally block?
Yeah, she just blocks and deletes everyone.
Does she get bothered by stuff like that as well?
Not really. She doesn't get bothered. I mean, there has been certain things in the past. I mean, one thing bothered me before is kind of like when I come out the show, I had all these appearances at clubs and stuff, and I still find it weird to this day. But like, I was like getting drunk every single night, like, and I had a gig, I don't know, 5-6 times a week. I had one night off, and I remember like my mum coming to visit Essex, and then I was having a meal, and I wasn't even in the room. Like, my mind was just gone, and I lost loads of weight. And then I had like people commenting saying, "Oh, well, you've lost loads of weight. Are you ill and stuff?" And it used to really get to me to a stage where I was just like, I'd have to wear like, it'd be in the summer, I'd put like 2 jumpers on. Do you know
Were you not aware of it at the time? Was it a wake up call for you?
Well, I was aware of it, but like having people just keep saying it on your photos constantly, I was just like, it was getting me down quite a lot.
When it comes to drinking and stuff, were you relying on that to get through it? Because you don't strike me as the kind of person who actually thrives that attention you would from, let's say, a club appearance or.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I do find it weird. Like, obviously, when I was 24 when I come off that show, so I'm 32 now. It's quite a long time ago. So I was in a different headspace then. Like maybe I did enjoy it, I'm not going to lie. It was like a fun time for me. But it kind of got to the stage where I was drinking was over... Like it was overshadowing everything else that I was doing, and it was just kind of like I needed to feel normal and have a drink to be comfortable in a social situation.
And being back home in Essex with your mum, was that a bit of a wake up call for you? A bit of a kick up the arse to...
Yeah, well, especially because my mum was in Wolverhampton. I moved to Essex, so I was kind of like that was the first time I'd moved out my mum's house as well. Do you know what I mean? And being an only child, like as well, and just always being me and my mum, that was a tough thing for mum and that as well.
Yeah,
So
I bet.
Whereabouts is that in Essex now? Around like Chelmsford area?
No, so I moved to Chelmsford, and then now we live just round by Stansted Airport.
Nice. My girlfriend's in Chelmsford. So
Oh, really?
I'm there all the time.
Yeah,
I love Essex.
Yeah, I love Essex, man. It's so funny though. When I moved to Chelmsford, I was like, "This is countryside to me," and it's not.
Nah, it's great. In terms of finishing off, we won't talk too much on Love Island because I know you probably get asked this all the time. But coming off Love Island, what were some of the main sort of lessons you took from that show and sort of propelling you into your next phase of life?
I've always been one of these people that's kind of just like, I think I mentioned it earlier, it's like you just say yes to every opportunity you get. And I feel like that's why me and Liv have kind of stayed in this kind of industry for so long, because normally you get like 6 to 12 months and then there's another Love Island, then you're gone. Luckily me and Liv have stayed like getting work, and we've really like made a living out of it really. But I think that just stems from just being like taking every opportunity you can, being nice to absolutely everyone you meet, because like a lot of people let it go to their heads, do you know what I mean? And to me, you've just done a shitty little TV show, like it's nothing like. Yeah, and some people let it go to their heads and they're horrible to like the makeup artist or the cameraman. Like I'm nice to everyone. I'm just here. I'm just chatting. I'm chatting to you now. And I feel like that kind of like gets around, and then you get more work, and that's how it just like
Stay
carried
grounded.
on for us. Yeah, that's what you got to be. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially with social media as a whole, and it's. I was scrolling through TV with my parents the other night, and your house came up on some show. I didn't end up watching it because I was preparing for this, and I was like. What? What's that like? Sort of having like your private, your private space in a way, be on the TV. It looked amazing, by the way. It was an awesome house. There's a great story behind it as well.
It is like I still find it weird, especially when they film at your house and that as well, because everyone can see it. But then again, we had our wedding filmed. Do you know what I mean? And then we did like a TV show after it, like. The Happily Ever After it was called, and it was kind of just like life after being married with me and living that, and that was quite difficult because I got to the stage where I was getting sick of all the TV stuff. Like I wanted to try and get away with it, but then like at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to think about the bread and butter.
I was going to ask you that. Are you able to, because you're both quite down to earth, aren't you? Are you able to separate the two lives together? Because that's work as well. You have to remember that as well, because obviously it's a good earner for you in one way, but actually your private life and holidays with the family, especially now you've got a baby, is it quite hard to sort of separate the two together, or have you just got into a habit of doing it yourself? And
well, obviously like all the work and stuff that we do is from home, so it is kind of hard to like separate it. But now that Abel's kind of gone, since having Abel, our life just changed completely. You can't even like go to the gym without saying, Liv, can you just watch him for an hour? Do you know what I mean? But now like he goes to nursery 2 days a week, so that's them days that we use for work. So that's where we keep the work and then all the family stuff separately. That's the best way to do it, really. I think.
What's it been like transitioning to fatherhood?
Do you know what? The biggest thing that I've learned is, and I think this stems from me being an only child, like I need to have more patience, because it's kind of just like all your time and that is gone as well. So like I said, if you want to go to the gym, you can't. You've got to plan everything around this little person in front of you. It's mad. But then like, especially if I'm putting Albert to bed and sometimes he doesn't want to go to sleep, I'm just like, oh God, but then he'll look up at you and smile. It just makes it all worth it. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what's taught me the most, is just have more patience. And to be honest, be more present as well. I kind of went for a stage of just being on my phone constantly. And I was getting to the stage where I would have Abel in my arms walking down the top of the stairs to the bottom. I'd check my phone at the top. By the time I'd put it back in my pocket. By the time I got to the bottom, I'd pull it out again and just check. And I was like, I'm addicted to my phone.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's mad. It's crazy. It's just such a vice.
Yeah, I have that problem at the moment. Is obviously you get your screen time that comes through every day, and like it's stupid. I must be spending 6-7 hours a day on my phone. It's so unhealthy. But the one thing I find hard is the majority of the things I hate social media. That's one of my things. I'm a very private guy. And this is tough for me, being on a podcast, putting my life out there. But one of the main things which has been really hard for me is because I'm private, I used to switch my phone off, but now everything's on social media. The podcast, what I'm doing, you know, if I'm talking to Siobhan on editing, behind the scenes, and it's just, I feel like I can't get away from it.
Yeah.
And that's what I find really hard is like, do you have sort of digital detoxes in a way, and just, are you able just to close it off and be like, nah, that's it, I don't want to, because that's something I really struggle with.
I'll be honest, I think you're totally right. I struggle with it as well. Like, there's actually a little thing you can buy, I don't know if you've seen it, and like, it's like a little box with a code in, and you put your phone in the box, and then you time it for an hour. Yeah, and it don't open it. It doesn't open. Really? It doesn't open until the hour's up. So you're off your phone. I was thinking about getting that. That's how bad I was. But yeah, it's just hard to like kind of keep the two separate, because obviously you want your podcast to grow and do well. So you've got to put all your time and effort into it, and it's not like you can get all this work done in 9 to 5. Sometimes at 7, 8 o'clock at night you might need to do something. But I think it's just about kind of setting yourself boundaries and limits to like how much you can work in the day.
You touched on physical fitness before. This is something we're both huge on, especially Joe's a PT, coaching and stuff like that, and loves it. In terms of physical fitness, what type of things are you doing for it at the moment? Because I know you've got some really cool challenges coming up for charity.
So obviously I was always bodybuilding since I was like 15, 16. And then when obviously Joel passed, I started to like get back into running again. I don't really run since I was playing football. I had a couple of injections in my knee, so I couldn't feel my knee pain. It was fine. I know I'm just masking it, I'm not fixing it, but I'll sort that when I'm a bit older. But yeah, literally I just made the change to like more functional fitness. And I just feel like it helped me mentally, because when I'm just bodybuilding, you're kind of just like on your phone, do 3 sets, chill for like 2 minutes, back for 3 sets. I was getting bored of it. Whereas this, it's like constant work. By the time I've finished, all the endorphins and everything that's released, I just feel great at the end of it. So yeah, the running like really helps like with my mental health.
There is a movement behind that as well. I notice a lot of people are coming away from, I mean, by all means, like I'm big into my weight training as well, but since I've started doing more cardio, I feel happier.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends who are involved in the mental health space and do fitness as well, since they've started running, swimming, cycling, the difference they've seen compared to the weight training is just through the roof. I don't know what it is. They just feel so much better for it.
Do you know what I think it is? Yeah, it's like the intensity of it. Like, because you know, to get out and just run a 10k, like you struggle maybe 3-4k, then you like your body gets used to it. 5-6k, you're back in the game. Then like the last 2k, you really push yourself. And when I finish, I feel like I'm just going to collapse on the floor. Then all of a sudden, I just get this rush. I'm like, I've done that for the day. I'm ready to go about my day and just get my stuff done. Do you know what I mean? So
I love that.
Do you feel like mental resilience aligned with physical fitness is something that's big? Because I think this is something I spoke about on the past podcast. I feel like I took the easy way out on a lot of physical fitness, and you know, I played a high level of sport, loved the gym, but in my head I was always like, if no one was watching, I'd have to do the 12 reps, I'll do like 10 or 9, and that was such an awful mindset. I feel like since I've started actively being like, I'm doing that amount, I'm setting that, everything in my life, you know, whether it's coming to this, whether it's coming to resilience and work, whatever I'm doing has all transformed just from that one change in physical fitness. And it sounds so stupid because it sounds like such a minor thing.
Yeah, people would say like it sounds like cliche and that, but it's not. It's true. I genuinely believe to me, it's all about confidence. Like, so if you get like social anxiety when you walk to a room, I get it. I still get it sometimes. Sometimes I just don't feel confident. If you walk into a room with your head held high, you feel like you're in good shape, you feel good about yourself, mentally, like physically, you're gonna feel better mentally, and that's just a massive confidence thing. Do you know what I mean?
And you touched on before as well, and I know this is a sensitive topic about your best friend, and I have so much respect for you for talking about it on your platform, raising money with Birmingham Mind and things like that. How's that sort of been dealing with that? Obviously, you said about having the birth of your son around that time as well. So it's the best day of your life and probably one of the worst days of your life. How have you been able to deal with that?
I mean, to be honest, with like the challenges and stuff that I was doing, I think it was more of a sense of I didn't want to forget him. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of helping me mentally. And then it's also helping everyone else, hopefully. Like, even because I've had people messaging me saying, "Oh, what you're doing is like really great," and you talking about it has made me like open up to people. Even if I help like 1 or 2 men a year, do you know what I mean? Or even just one, I'd be happy with what I've done. So yeah, I just think that there's a lot of things that I want to do for men's mental health, and it's like helping me, it's helping everyone else, and it's just helping me not forget Joe.
Did Joe struggle with anything before he took his life? I mean, were there signs there? What turned it about him?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there was a few things. I mean, there's this personal stuff that I won't really go into,
No,
but he
for sure.
kind of like the last kind of straw was he lost his nan,
Okay.
and he kind of like tried to do something before, and we thought he was kind of out of it. But you never really know when someone's okay.
So he'd been battling for a while then.
Yeah, he'd been battling for a while. And then obviously his nan passed, and I feel like that was just the icing on the cake with it, really. Because, I mean, to be honest, the first time it was kind of just like, I mean, it's hard for me to talk about, really.
No, of course.
Like, the first time, he was kind of telling us.
Okay.
Like, but so it was kind of like a cry for help. And then the second time, he didn't want to... well, we just thought he was fine.
Yeah.
And that was the worst thing about it, really.
Yeah.
Because like he was supposed to be coming out with me on a night out the week after. Like everything was fine, and then all of a sudden I got that phone call and it was gone.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it's just horrible, really.
How has it been with the friendship group that you have with Joe? How has it changed since then? Has it changed at all, dynamic wise, in terms of reaching out to each other, or?
I mean, to be honest, we was kind of always good anyway, because we kind of dealt with what Joe was going through a little bit, because we, like as I said, he tried to do something before, but like we've had a few friends like they've had friends that have killed themselves, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we've all been kind of around it. But I always say, like, it's a hard thing to like step forward and like even say something to your best friend, or even just someone you know, kind of thing. But maybe like I always call it like the 3 text rule. So it's kind of like you text someone saying you're all right, mate, and if they say yeah, you, and they're just like no, you're really okay, and that's like to take all the embarrassment out of it, to see if someone's okay, and then that's like the little signal to be like, oh, he's actually asking me if I'm all right. Then they've got the option then whether to like come forward and tell you or just leave it, like. So
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, appreciate you sharing that a lot. And just from my point of view, is I lost someone very close to me as well, and one thing I really struggled with, and it's kind of a catalyst for why we started this as a whole, was I bottled all of it up inside just for so long, and I felt like I couldn't talk, and I felt like I couldn't share because I didn't want to burden anyone else. How was it for you when were you able to sort of talk about it? Obviously, it's very hard to talk about now still. But at that time, what was your mindset? Were you, let's keep this inside, or did you just bring everyone close to you?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really. When I first found out, I got my phone, just dropped my phone on the floor, and then I remember just like we've got all country fields at the back of our house. Just went on like a 2-hour walk. I shouldn't have done it because I left my phone in the kitchen, and Liv was worried about me. Then I come back, I didn't stop crying the whole way, and then I remember like getting in the shower, coming out, and I said, Liv, can you get me like a bottle of whiskey? And then I drank the whole bottle, and I was like, then I woke up the next day, and I was like, forget that. I said, I'm not doing that again, because that's when you can get into like a little, like a bad routine of thinking that's just going to be okay. And then I didn't really speak about it for a while. Then I thought to myself, like, I've got all this following, like I need to start doing something. And then the first time I spoke about it, I got really upset about it. But then after that, I remember like people asking me about it, and I could actually talk. So it's just that first step of just getting it off your chest, which helps. Do you know what I mean?
Was Liv really good through that process? She sounds like, from what I've just seen, I followed you on Instagram for years now.
That's
so
mad.
This is crazy for us to like be here actually chatting to you, especially when I saw you on TV. I didn't realise it was 8 years ago as well.
Yeah, I'm old now.
That's
I'm getting old, boy.
But she sounds like she was amazing through the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm very lucky to have my wife, man. Like, she's she helps me out through pretty much anything. Like, she looks after me a lot as well. Do you know what I mean? We've got this like really good dynamic. But yeah, she like obviously at the same time when I had my son, like I was kind of focusing on that as well. And Liv like let me kind of add some leniency towards it because she knew what I was going through. But like I just kind of had to step back up and just be a dad again, I guess.
Was alcohol sort of like not a soother? What's the word? Sort of like a coping mechanism for what you were going through at that time.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was just that first day, and then I didn't do it again. Yeah. Because I woke up the next day feeling really bad, and I was just like, I felt a bit hungover, well, obviously. And then I just kind of thought to myself, I don't want to get into that routine. Because when I was doing it, it didn't even make me feel better. Because I thought, a lot of people say it numbs the pain. It don't do anything, it just makes you feel worse.
So what was a turning point for you in terms of going down the physical challenges route, or you just... That's your background as well, so does that have a...
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've had, I don't know if you know who Josh Patterson is. You know who he is? Yeah, he did the 76 marathons, 76 days. Like,
that was nuts.
Yeah, man. I'd done one with him. Yeah, it killed me. I was done. I don't know, he done 76. But yeah, he kind of done a few bits for men's mental health and that kind of like, I seen a few of his posts and I was like, I need to be doing something like that. And that's why I just channeled it into that, really. So
all the pain sort of just into physical fitness.
Yeah.
Have you seen that guy who ran the train line? Have you seen him?
Oh yeah, Josh done a little bit with him. Yeah,
It's
he did
nuts.
all the tubes and that. He done every tube.
So he did like
in
the
London,
Met line, did every single station.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Would you ever do something like that?
Nah, I don't think my knees would take it, man. They're really bad.
What's the problem with the knee? Do you know, or you just
my
ignoring
ACL
it?
is just non-existent. Pretty much.
Really?
That bad?
Yeah, bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be able to push through these big challenges, or is it kind of just mind over matter?
Oh yeah, I'm going to do them. I mean, to be honest, it was more of a sense of like, with my ACL, it's like unilateral movements and like stop and starting. Like this is just constant running straight line. It doesn't really hurt that much.
For those that don't know, tell the guys watching with a little bit about some of the challenges you've done or doing.
So some of the challenges I'm doing, I'm actually doing a 24-hour constant run. Well, that's what I was going to do, and I've kind of changed the rules a little bit. I'm going to do 5k every hour on the hour for 24 hours.
Nuts.
And then once that's done, I'm not going to stop there. I'm just going to do something else. I'm just going to keep doing stuff until. Yeah, well, until do you know what? I don't even know when I'm going to stop. I actually really enjoy doing it. Like, I want to do like an ultra marathon, like everything, like so.
Have you ever seen that thing called Marathon des Sables? Do you know Spencer Matthews? Have you heard it from Main Chelsea?
Yeah.
He did the Marathon des Sables, and it's 250 kilometers in 6 days. I think you run for 5, or you can walk it, whatever.
Yeah.
You just have to stay ahead of the camels. 250 kilometers.
Wait,
250 kilometers in the desert, by the way.
Yeah.
Not in London, not ahead of the camels. But,
I was going to say, where's the camels?
But in the desert, and you do 50 kilometers a day in like the roaring heat, and it was basically this big competition. Right. He raised loads of money for it and did it as his like charity thing. And obviously did his Everest climb as well. I don't know if you saw that program. Mad. But that guy does crazy
that
things.
Is crazy. Like, I mean, I'll probably swerve that one as well.
How much is that 120 kilometers you're doing? Is that awful maths? Nah, it's good maths.
Yeah, I think it's 120.
120.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I was just going to do like 24 hours constant. But you can kind of just like run it at a slow pace. I mean, to be honest, I was kind of tempted to try and beat a target every 5k. So basically I could run for 40 minutes and then do 5k in 40 minutes. Then I could have 20 minutes rest, then go again. I want to try and do it in under half hour every time, so I get half hour rest every time. I know that'd be good to do.
Mate, that'd be sick.
I can't make it too easy on myself.
Are you gonna do that through social media? Have like a team of you? You said when you launch a podcast with your videographer, is he gonna like film it?
Yeah, he's gonna do it all. I mean, to be honest, I was gonna do it on a track for like 12 hours, get like a DJ there and stuff and everything else, and then go onto the road after. But obviously my knee was pretty bad, so I had to like push it back, and now because the weather's getting worse, I might just do it from home really.
So obviously we spoke about Abel before and transitioning to fatherhood. One thing I always wanted to know was, and could you give some advice on what sort of lessons you're going to teach Abel growing up from things you've learned, the hard roads and the best times? What sort of fundamental lessons are you going to teach him?
Well, I kind of got in trouble for this the other day, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because obviously I got my own podcast, and the first one was about fatherhood. And there was kind of like mixed reviews about it. Like, to me, I might as well just re-say it on here. So, do you know, like, obviously with men's mental health and stuff, that talk about, like, we should open up more, show our emotions, like cry, show our weaknesses and that. I 100% agree with that, we should. But then I think sometimes you need to have that resilience about you as well. And I don't, obviously, with the younger generation, if we keep pushing that narrative of showing weakness all the time, like, how they're going to build any resilience? Do you know what I mean? I feel like you've got to overcome things on your own. And I said that, and to be fair, 90% of people agreed with me. Then there was 10% saying, like, you don't need to push anything on your kids. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to push it on him. But, like, I'm going to teach him a bit of resilience along the way. It's like, life's not always like sunshines and rainbows, you know what I mean? So,
mate, I completely agree with that.
I can agree more.
Yeah.
I could not agree more.
Because it's just a scary narrative that we're pushing. Like, and someone said, like, oh, so you think crying's weakness? And I went, yeah, it is. But I said the strength comes from you crying in front of someone else. Because tears are just pain leaving the body. That's all it is. So it is a weakness. But then for you to like be strong about it, you do it in front of people and be open and honest, and that's where you show your weakness.
Do you feel like you need a sort of strong core group that you can do that to? You know, like whether that's friends, family.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't really matter who you open up to as long as you do it. But that's what I mean. Sometimes it depends on the person's situation. But sometimes you either gotta like get your shit together and get stuff sorted yourself, or you got to open up and just find out what's going to help you and like along that road. Do you know what I mean?
You mentioned earlier being raised by your mum mainly. Did she raise you to be sort of a strong, independent young man, or was it tough love, or was it sort of sensitive? Or
I mean, because obviously I never knew my dad. Like I've still never met him to this day. It was always just me and my mum, but my granddad, he was kind of like my father figure.
Okay, fine.
And he kind of just taught me the main values, is like don't swear in front of women, don't like do you know what I mean? Just be a gentleman and that. So I got most of my values from him, and just seeing my mum, like now that I'm a dad and raising a kid, me and Liv, I know how difficult it is. So it's made me realise how hard my mum did have it. But yeah, I feel like they've just taught me like some of the best core values and that really.
It's funny, isn't it? Because when weirdly, I was Tom's first guest on here.
Oh,
and,
really?
And we spoke about our sort of father figures in our lives and how Tom's, the men in his life have sort of shaped how he's behaved in a good way. And I've looked at the father figures in my life, the men that come into my life, and how that's how it is I don't want to behave. So it's pretty similar to yours in the sense that you've seen what your dad's done, or not done in terms of not being there. Yeah. And I'm sure with your son, you'll be there, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's half the job of being a dad is just being there, just showing up. And my dad never shown up. And to be honest, I've never really bitched about it. I've never really whined about it. Like Liv's friends, two of the Liv's friends, their mum and dad split up. And they was really upset about it, but they've been together. I mean, they're like 25, 26 at the time, and they was asking me for advice, and I was like, I don't know. I said, I've never had a dad, so I don't know any different. Like my life's been great, like to me. So yeah, obviously I just want to be the best dad that I can be for Abel.
That's awesome.
Mate, I love that. I love that you're so positive about everything as well. And you know, we touched about on the start is it's so easy to just be so negative and like, oh, I've had this wrong, I've had this wrong. But I think what makes the most resilient people and the best people, in my opinion, are the ones to go, listen, I didn't have that card. Doesn't matter. This is what I'm going to do growing up. And when I do have a child, or I do, you know, have a best friend, if you lost a best friend, I'm going to be the best version of that possible. I think that's awesome that you sort of, in a way, it's tragic you haven't had a father growing up, but you've also come out the side really well from it. And you're able to be a great father for Abel, and I'm sure it's taught you a lot as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, like not having a dad, a lot of people could like act out on it, but I kind of got everything that I ever wanted. So I was a happy kid growing up. And don't get me wrong, I have my days where like I'm not always 100%, I'm not always like confident. But then today I might feel a little bit shit, tomorrow I might feel good. And the next
What do you
day,
do on those days? What are those that look like for you if you're feeling a bit down? Is it Liv who steps in and she's your rock, or? Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, you can tell when I'm down because I'm very snappy. I become very irritable and snappy, and the smallest minute thing will just annoy me. And then I'll either just go for it. Especially if I haven't been to the gym or just been for a run in the morning, I feel so bad. I just feel horrible about myself. Or especially if I don't really eat that great. But like I've actually come to realise that food is a massive thing. If I feel myself full of a load of crap, like the next day I always feel worse for it. Like
that's why I stopped drinking
so
for that
bad.
reason.
Yeah.
Same reason I stopped drinking is because if I go weeks without it, and I'll have 1-2 at the rugby club after a game, for example. I feel the next day. I feel it. Like if I go months and months without having anything, and I have something, my sleep's affected. I'm really grouchy.
That's the worst thing is the sleep that's affected.
Yeah, massively.
That's why you get irritable. But I bet when you was like drinking all the time, probably was you drinking like every week?
Well, times where I drink more, you get used to it.
Yeah, you get used to it. And it's not a normal thing to do. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying like not everyone don't go out and drink. Like you live your life and do what you want to do. But like I said, it does affect people in different ways.
100%.
Have you fully cut alcohol out, or you just minimise it? Because I'm at a point where I feel a bit too awkward, a bit too socially awkward to just cut it out fully. When you're out with your mates at the pub and everyone's just on a different wavelength to you, it's just like I feel so awkward being there. But I think now I'm getting older, a bit more mature. I kind of doesn't bother me as much now, but it's still I'm not at the point where I can
How old are you?
21.
Older.
21.
Older.
Mate, you're 21 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm 32. Mate, I'm old.
That's mad.
You're not
Saying older
21.
than
I am,
mature,
to be
yeah,
fair.
21. Yeah.
That is
I'm an
insane.
old head.
Ridiculous.
Got bad
Yeah, you
hair-
are an
bad
old
hairline
head.
as well.
Mate, if you'd have met me at 21, you wouldn't have had me on this podcast. I'll tell you that. That is mad.
No, that's fair.
Yeah,
But
but with like the drinking and that, like I do drink. I'm not gonna lie. Like I do like a good drink, but I used to do it quite excessively, especially like DJing and that as well. Like going out, you're always kind of around that. But now I can actually go and not drink if I don't want to drink, and that's the hardest thing. Really.
Tell me about DJ then, because that's something that you're getting really into at the minute,
Saw
isn't
that.
it?
Yeah. So obviously I grew up like going out. I didn't really go to pubs and clubs. I was going to raves at like 18. I was going to say 17 then, but I might get in trouble. So I was going out to like raves and stuff. So I kind of grew up around that. All my friends was kind of DJs, and then I kind of just like. I always wanted to do it, but I never had the time. And obviously, when my life changed and like my work, and I had more time to do whatever I wanted to do, pretty much, I decided to do it. And then it was so funny how I got booked. My mate, he could actually DJ at the time. I couldn't. I was in Dubai, and there was a video of me on the decks. I didn't really know what I was doing. He said, "Turn that down and turn it back up." And then these lads that I knew from Birmingham, there was like, I don't know, you could DJ. And I was like, yeah, I can DJ. And they run a big event in Birmingham. And I used to go to this club when I was a kid. And they said, we've got an event in 2 months, like, do you want to play, you and Joey, back to back? And I went, yeah. So I went to this place called Pirate Studios where you can, like, you rent the deck set, you rent this place for an hour.
Yeah.
And I was there 4 times a week for 2 months, learned
That's
how to
wicked.
DJ. And then when I first got behind the decks, I was shaking. I dropped the tune and everyone went mad. And it was the best thing I've ever felt in my life. Then it just propelled from there.
Haven't
Really.
looked back.
Make it.
That's
Yeah,
wicked.
never look back.
That's
That's what I'm
wicked.
saying. Just take the opportunity and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
run with it. Like,
I
that's
love
it. Yeah.
What have you got lined up for it now?
So I'm actually this weekend I'm DJing 3 gigs, so I'm going to be quite tired this weekend.
What, 3 in
Yeah,
Friday,
3
Saturday?
nah, just 3 and Saturday. Yeah, daytime ones and nighttime ones. And then hopefully Ibiza's on the cards next year and
That's
Malta. Yeah.
How does that marry in with your life at the minute? Does it work perfectly with the sort of family setup and?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, I'm glad it's not. I used to do it every week, and now it's kind of like once, twice a month. But to be honest, it's nice because I don't want to. When I go out, I can enjoy myself and have a drink. Then, if it was kind of becoming like every week doing it, then I'd get myself into a bit of a rut. And then having a kid and being hungover the next day is not the best thing.
It's also probably a bit, that's like your thing. Separating family life, like you said, it's quite hard to separate family life to an extent with Abel and Liv doing the same thing. But that sort of music thing where you go to a studio, you're practicing, that's probably like your thing, that and physical fitness.
Well, it's a hobby. Like I don't really look at it as work. Like if I make money from it, yeah, fair play. But like I do because I love doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like you said, it's like fitness and music. I feel like that's my thing. Like
Would you ever do like a music event for raising money for charity?
Oh, 100%. I mean, to be honest, I actually spoke about this. Lab 11, where that's the first club I played. It's one of the biggest clubs in Brum. I was thinking about doing like a 24-hour DJ set, like, but all my mates jump in for like 24 hours, and you live stream it, and then we just go back to back for like 24 hours. It'd be so good. Like, I know.
Would you do that with for Birmingham Mind?
Yeah, I do. Everything I'll do is for Birmingham Mind. Yeah, I went round, looked at all their offices and all their work that they do, and I just feel like. And obviously it was close to Joe and that as well, so that's the reason I chose Birmingham Mind. Yeah.
Tell us a little about while we're on the subject of what Birmingham Mind are doing, what the difference they're making, what kind of work they're doing in the local community, and.
Yeah, so obviously when people, they've got like the hotline, if you want to call it that. Yeah, so they call, obviously they've got people working the phones and stuff like that. They've got like social community events that they do, and all the money goes to like employ more people to be on the phones, to talk to more people, because not a lot. There's always some people that slip through the cracks and never get through to them. Yeah. So obviously the more people that we can get beyond the phone, the better. That you've got a chance of helping people, really. And when I went around the offices and they showed me everything that they do, I was just blown away, really. Some of them, like, not a lot of them get paid. Like, it's just all, I mean...
Volunteer stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of volunteer stuff and that as well, so it's really good. And yeah, like I said, because it was, like, close to home, I just thought that would be the best way to do it.
Unreal. Is it based around men's mental health as a whole?
Everything, everything? It's men's mental health, yeah.
That's it. I'll put all the links below, make sure everyone knows all about Birmingham Mind. I just wanted to read you this quote which you put on your Instagram, and see your point of view on this now. You've done so well with it. Is I hope you can all get on board with this journey with me, and we can make a difference to how men deal with their mental health. I'm ready to talk, and I want others to be too. I will challenge myself month in, month out to make that happen. I just need your support to raise funds and give Ep.8 the opportunity to make a difference. This is for Joe. How does that feel listening to that now, knowing you've had over 500 people donate to your Ep.8 cause from what you've set up? Is that like a massive sense of pride that comes from that?
Yeah, and do you know what? Yeah, like I called it for Joe because I didn't really know what to call it. So it was just kind of like, I'm doing this for Joe, and that just become a thing. And to read that back now and like listen to it, it's like I was very humbled, but before, and like I said, I never used my platform to do something good, and now that I have, like, it's just like you said, it does fill me with pride. But like I said, I'm doing it to like help me mentally, and I'm also doing it to like help as many men as I can. So,
do you have a set amount you want to achieve for?
Well, I put like 50k on there, but I just feel like I'm just gonna get more than that because when it reaches 50k, I'm just gonna keep it going. There's not really a limit, like really. So.
And sort of using your social media to boost that up. Obviously, we spoke about social media before, and I think social media can be quite a damaging place. But as we just said then, social media can also be a pretty awesome place, especially raising funds like this as well. Just to come back to it before I forget, you said about these challenges, is that going to be, so everything's linked to Ep.8, and then you're going to do this 5-kilometer run, 24 hours, so 120 kilometers, which I think is like, I don't even know how many miles. That's a lot of miles.
You can do it if you want.
I'll do a 5k.
That'd be a pleasure. That'd be a pleasure
with you.
Yeah, we'll do that with InsideAMind, raise as much awareness of Ep.8 as possible.
Great.
That'll be awesome. So these are physically demanding tasks you're doing, and we said before, does it sort of come to mind over matter when you're doing these things?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I'm running and stuff, and sometimes I cannot be bothered. Like, I'll be on like a 5k or a 10k, and I'm like, I can't be asked today. And then I do think in the back of my mind, for Joe. That's what I kind of
remind yourself.
Yeah, you just got to remind yourself a little bit. But yeah, like having like a challenge in place and like a time, I've got until this day to do it. That like excites me. Do you know what I mean? I've got a challenge to do myself. So
what's the time set for it? Like your date you're going to do
so
it?
So the date was moved because obviously I've redone my knee in, which was not good. So I'm just waiting to get some injections done so I can't feel any pain, and then I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Man.
Yeah, it's so bad. I shouldn't really be saying that, but I'm doing it.
Yeah, I bet Liv's thrilled to hear.
Oh
that
yeah. As long as I can still carry able,
Should
it's
be
fine.
wheeling around forward.
I was going to ask Instagram. Well, this is what we normally do. We ask Instagram, leave some questions for the guest day. I didn't want to put you on the Instagram just yet. I wanted to sort of let everyone see that when it comes out, and we hopefully do a good job of producing this in a good way. But when I sat down a couple nights ago, I was like, what were two sort of questions I'd love to ask Alex? And if I was in Alex's boots, what questions, would feel like would help the most people? But the first one I want to ask is, I would love to know what your sort of goal is over the next 5 to 10 years, both personally. Obviously, you got this charity stuff as well. Personally, with Abel, is there another kid on the card? Potentially. And then, obviously, with the charity stuff and work stuff, what's your plan for the next 5 years, or is it spontaneous?
I mean, I'm pretty spontaneous, really, but I want another kid. I want a little girl.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. And to be honest, like, I'm pretty, like, I like an easy life, man. Like I said, when I was scaffolding, I had the time of my life, because it was a nice, easy life. I get to work, get paid, leave. Do you know what I mean? My work is very much scattered now. What I'd like to do is just, like, really in a little bit, not do, like, social media as much, like, posting kind of stuff, and, like, maybe develop my podcast a lot more. Yeah, we're actually moving out of our house at the minute. So that's like a big thing. We're going to move in more into the town, so Abel's around other kids and stuff.
Awesome.
We're kind of like secluded at the moment. And yeah, to be honest, that's pretty much it, man. I ain't really thought about it too much. Like with the challenges and that, I don't think they're going to stop. I'm just going to keep doing as many as I can.
Yeah, I love that. And with your podcast as well, we'll talk about it quickly because I know you released your first episode today on the What the Fuck podcast. Is that how you say it?
What the FAQ, whatever you want to call it.
And that was based on fatherhood.
Yeah.
What's the next one coming out? I saw you film like a behind the
Oh,
scenes.
there was a Halloween special that we've done.
Yeah.
So basically, with the podcast that I do, it's kind of just like it's because I shoot it at my house. It's just me and Elliot, my friend, and then we'll have guests on and that as well. It's very like you walk in, the cameras are already rolling. It's just a chat. Do you know what I mean? There's no like questions and that. I just wanted it to feel like a chat that everyone can get involved in.
Laid back.
Yeah, just really laid back
Yeah.
and just like if you mess up, you mess up. And say like if someone has to go out to the toilet, I'll just be on my phone and the camera will still be running. Do you know what I mean? It'll just be like really natural and stuff.
Have you got like
so.
topics to talk about, or is it just everyday stuff?
So that's the reason why we called it what the FAQ. So we are on my Instagram. I'll put like a question box up, and they'll say, "What question do you want to ask this week or whatever?" Or over the next, I'll just done like a massive question box, and then they just sent loads of stuff in. Say there was like 10 about men's mental health.
Yeah.
Then I'd make one episode around men's mental health.
Yeah.
There was a lot around fatherhood, so I did it about fatherhood. I'm not going to give too much away, but the next one is Halloween special, and then we're going to do a music one. So I'm going to get a DJ to come in that's like quite well known, and then talk about what the actual scene's like, and then we'll do a social media one and stuff like that.
It's good, isn't it?
Mate, we need to have fun.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Mate, I'd have you on, man, for the mental health one. That'd be great. That'd be good, man.
I don't know how well I'm sure we'd be all right, but I don't know how well
Oh,
we'd
mate, you'd be fine, man. We should have to get another. We've only got 3 mics. We'll get another one. It'll be fine.
I love that.
Appreciate it.
I'm going to end it on this question, and this is something that I tend to ask at the end of all of the podcasts, but I think it's one of the most powerful things, and it's if you have the opportunity to broadcast one single message to the world, given all you've experienced, everything you've learned, and everything you've advocated for, what would that one message be?
Just be present. Just be present in everything that you do. And I learned to realise that when I had my son. Like I said, I'd sometimes be on my phone when I was giving him his bottle, and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" Do you know what I mean? I'm only going to be this like age and size for a little bit. Like you got to cherish every moment. So just be present in everything that you do, and just give you 100%.
The ministry of presence goes a long way.
That's wicked, mate.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on.